All right, guys, so here we go. Today we're moving on. I know that Delta math was pretty tricky yesterday. It's not that it was hard entirely, but it was asking you to do some kind of weird thing. So if you didn't do it, whatever, it's fine. If you tried it, I appreciate it. That's what I really just want you to do, guys. Every single time we do something, I just want you to try it. All right? Even if you don't quite understand it or get it, that's fine. We'll work on it again the next day, okay? But I need to know that you're trying. That's the most important part. Okay? Moving on then. Moving on. Okay, I can write the equation of a line by looking at the graph. That's what we're moving on to today. So we're going to get some more practice with slope today. And then we're adding one more little piece to it. But really, guys, I don't think it'll be too bad today. And then we're going to kind of have some time to review slope, review equations, and go from there. The equation of a line we call slope. Write this for me. Slope intercept form. Okay? That's how we write the equation of a line. You'll see this equation over and over and over again. You do it a lot in pre-algebra, but also you do it a lot in algebra. In fact, my algebra kids right now are learning about kind of functions and what that looks like. So it's pretty simple to write. All right? We've done a little bit of this when we wrote equations earlier in the week. Basically, every time it starts with y. There's one exception that we'll talk about, but basically every time it starts with y. And then we do y equals. Okay? So I got y equals, and then we put the letter m. We'll talk about that in a second. Then we put x almost every time. And then we put plus b. Okay, for the most part, the y and the x never change. The y and the x never change. Almost every equation has a y in it, and almost every equation has an x in it. M is what we've been working with all week long. It's our k value. It's our change in y over change in x. It's our slope. Write that for me. Y equals mx plus b. M is our slope. You could really write this equation with a k instead if you wanted to. That's fine. It makes sense because that's what we've been talking about. And then our b, so we took care of the slope part. Now we got to take care of the intercept. Y-intercept. Write this for me. Intercept. Okay, so the b is our y-intercept. And as this makes sense, we'll do a little bit of practice with it. But this, write this, is where my line crosses the y-axis. Where my line crosses the y-axis. So where does that line intercept? Where does it cross my y-axis? That is what the b is. That's what our y-intercept is. Okay? So we're not doing much different today, really. The only different piece is we're adding the y-intercept to it. So if I look at this graph right here, once again, I got graph paper at the front desk for you. If you want to come and get it, please, please, please do. It's hard to learn graphing without being able to actually do it. Okay, now these points are a little bit tricky, and it's going to be like this when we do IXL in a little bit. There's not points on the graph for you to use right away. But I know that I can add points here, right? Look right here. See how that point crosses right exactly where it is? I know that that point is at -1, -4. I can tell. That's a point on my line right there. See that one? But that point right there isn't exactly on the line. I can't tell what that point is. So I don't want to use that one. Okay? Another one that I want to use is right here. Okay, I like that point. Okay? Not there, but here. Any of those points are ones that I can use to find the equation. So as I mentioned before, right? This point right there is 2, 1. That point right there is 0, -1. So y equals is what I start with. Now what's the other part that we've already talked about? We need to find the slope. This is what we did the other day. So pick 2 points. Let's pick this point here, and I'm going to go up to this point here. Okay, that's what we talked about yesterday and the day before. We're going to go from here to here. How do I do that? We've done it. You rise and you run. So how far am I going to rise up? I'm going to rise up 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to run 1. So my rise was 3. My run was 1. After that, what do I have? X. Just like in my formula, right? Remember, it was y equals mx, look back at your notes, plus b. Now the last part that I need is the y-intercept. All right? The y-intercept. So here's my line. Where does that line that I'm drawing right now intercept the y-axis? Here's my y-axis, right? Where do they cross? Well, they cross right there. What's the point right there? Well, the point right there is -1. There's the equation for my line. Now, if I were you, I'd probably clean it up a little bit and make it y equals 3 over 1. So that'd just be, excuse me, that would be 3x minus 1. There is my best answer. Okay? Any questions? That makes sense. If you have a question, type it in the chat. Let me know. Let's try another one. Here we go. All right. What about this one now? Okay, let's give me some points up here. Guys, just a little hint, FYI. There's always a point on the y-axis that's a nice point to use. And then this one's a little bit trickier. That point I don't like that point, I don't like that point, I don't like that point, I like this point up here at the top. Okay? First of all, what do you notice about this problem? This problem's going downhill, right? So it's going to be a negative slope. Okay, start off my equation. Y equals. Okay, let's rise and run. Up, straight over. Rise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Run, 1, 2, 3. But which way did I go? I went to the left, so it's going to be -3. Okay, so y equals 5 over -3x. Y equals 5 over -3, right? Because I went to the left. X, because that's what comes next. And then my y-intercept this time, where does that blue line cross my y-axis? Where does it cross at? Well, it crosses right here, right? That's where it intercepts at. So I could put +0 if I wanted to. That's where 0 is. I don't have to if I don't want to. I could just clean it up and make it like this. And neither one of those answers would work. Okay? Does that kind of make sense, guys? So it's a negative slope. A negative slope. Okay, let's keep going. Let's try a couple more. Let's try a couple more here. Okay, let's try this one out. All right, here's a good point that I can use right here. And then, of course, I have the one on the y-axis. Okay, let's start it out. Y equals. You can even see it right there. There's my y equals. Y equals. Remember my formula. Y equals mx plus b. Next thing I need is my slope. Let's rise and run. Rise up. 1. Run over to the right. 1, 2, 3. So I rise 1. I run 3. What comes next? The x. Now, where's my y-intercept? Where does it cross at, guys? Where does it cross? It crosses right here. So that y-intercept, what's the value on the y-axis, right? That's going to be -1. Okay? How we feeling? How we feeling? Hopefully it's making sense. It's Friday, by the way. Yeehaw. That's exciting. All right, let's keep going. Here we go. Oh, man, another -1. We got a lot of negative ones today. That's okay, though. All right, let's do it. Here we go. Point right here that I want to use. A lot of points to use here. I can use that point. I can use that point. I can use any point on this line. In algebra, we call this pretty close to our basic function. But so let's keep it simple. The closer dots are together, the better off you are. Remember, y equals mx plus b. Okay, let's rise and run first. Y equals. Okay, let's count up. How far did I go up? Just 1. How far did I go over to the left? Just 1, but I went left, so it's got to be a -1. 1 over -1x. Where's that y-intercept again? Where does it cross the y-axis? Got a couple of these so far today. +0. Okay, if I want to clean it up, y equals 1 over 1 just simplifies the 1. So you could put -1x. I don't really need to put the +0. Another way you may see this is just -x, because the 1's hanging out in front there. Okay? All right, let's keep going then. A couple more. Man, so many negative ones. Okay, let's see. I think I got 2 more. Yep, let's do 2 more, and then I'll let you go on your own. Okay, here we go. Y-intercept. Let's find it. Or let's find our slope first. Y equals. Okay, rise and run. Here's my y-intercept, right? Okay, there's a point. And let's use, there's a lot, I don't like these points. Let's use this one down here for today, for right now. Okay, let's rise and run. Rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 7, run, 5, but which way did we go? We went to the left, negative 5x. And what's my y-intercept? That was the point that I used, right? What is it? Plus 2. Okay? All right, last one I want you to try on your own. Try this one on your own. See if you can come up with the answer on your own real quick. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about some points. Here's a point here that I can use. And another point, let's use this one here. Okay? All right, y equals another downhill one, right? It's going downhill. Y equals, let's rise and run. 1, 2, 3. Over 1, 2. But I went to the left, so it's going to be negative 2. What comes next? X. What's my y-intercept? 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Okay? All right, guys, we're going to work on some more together after this, but I just want to kind of give you an intro to it and see how you're doing, okay? All right, we're going to stop it there for today, and let's